Hi, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today's video, I'll be taking a short stroll around my neighborhood. Not something that I get to do every now and then. I can only do this when I have time and when the weather is really good. So yeah, today it's just so happened to be one of those days that the weather is really good and I got the time to do it, so why not? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all you good folks for all your support all these years, and for all you new folks who happen to be with me, who happen to find my channel, by chance. I hope you enjoy your stay. This is the new series, not really a new series, but a series that I've been working on many years ago, but I didn't really follow up on it. But now I got a time. I just want to carry on making more videos for this series. Basically, this series is about me being here in Japan as a Singaporean, for almost like 20 years. What is it like being here in the countryside here in Japan? I mean, I was born and raised in Singapore, so naturally I don't want to be in the big city like Tokyo or like Osaka or like Nagoya, any of the big cities, because coming from a big city to another big city, pretty much a lot of similarities. I don't really want that. So many years ago, I think 20 years back, I chose to come to this part of Japan in the countryside, and to be honest, I'm really enjoying it. The only thing that is not really not really that fantastic in the countryside is life is really slow here, and you don't really get like a lot of good giant companies here. So pretty much what you can actually do here for work and whatnot is pretty limited. So you really have to consider what exactly you want to do before you can move to the countryside. So I got pretty lucky to be able to land a job in the countryside, and then kind of work on from there. And as the years went by, I really like this place in Nagano Prefecture, smack in the middle of Japan. This is a lot of nature, a lot of beautiful sceneries, and a lot of history. So it's unlike Singapore, it's a very, very small place. So initially when I first came to Japan, I hang out with a whole bunch of Japanese people, and sometimes I hear Japanese people telling me like, Japan is a small country compared to, of course, like United States or China or Russia or the other giant continents. And I'll be telling them like, you think Japan is small? Maybe you should try to go to Singapore and figure out which is smaller. Because when I was in Singapore, I didn't really pay attention to the other countries much, but basically Singapore is so small. When I was in Singapore, we don't really use the word like a prefecture or a state or interstate or any of that. What is that word? Because Singapore by itself, it's a city-state. There are no states, there are no prefectures in Singapore. It's just so small. And to be honest, Singapore is probably smaller than the 23 sectors of Tokyo. So that's how small Singapore is. So yeah, but after being here in Japan for almost 20 years, Japan is definitely bigger than Singapore. There are like 47 prefectures, with Nagano being the fourth largest and Hokkaido being the biggest prefecture. So we get to travel like interstate within Japan, domestic travel. Like in Singapore, I don't think I can ever take a domestic flight from one side of Singapore to the other side of Singapore. That is just something that is not possible, in Singapore. But here in Japan, yeah, because going down to other states, like where I am in Nagano, if I need to go down to like Kyushu area, Kumamoto, or like Fukuoka area, I need to take a flight there, a domestic flight. So on one occasion, I was gonna take a domestic flight down, and I asked my wife, to grab me my passport, and she's like, "What are you talking about? you don't need a passport to travel domestically within Japan. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm coming from a Singaporean. Every time we take a flight, it's just natural that we have to have a passport, you know. There's a train coming up. Let me just show you guys. There's a train coming up. I hope you guys can see it. And there's a train in the back. Our timing is just right. This is a local train that travel locally in my area. Beautiful, right? Yeah, it's just, you know, a small little train line that carries the students around this very, very quiet and unpopulated countryside. So, you know, one of the reasons I really like to be in the countryside is because there are less people and the scenery is amazing. And of course, you know, oh, there's a car coming in. Okay, let's just wait here, wait for the car to pass first. Hold on. Okay, see, behind me there's a tunnel. Okay, I'm going into the tunnel. So, yeah, the tunnel is like, you know, from a scene right out of the Miyazaki Hayao Ghibli's, you know, movies. What is that? Spirited Away, where they pass through a tunnel, and on the other side is a totally different world. Yeah, every time I pass through this tunnel, that's how I feel, you know. Like on this side, where we're going, it's a beautiful scenery, the Mount Asama, and passing through the tunnel, going to the other side, it's a residential, you know, area where people live in the summer houses. So yeah, just do a 360 here for you guys. Coming out of the tunnel, you can see right behind me Mount Asama there in the back. Beautiful, eh? So yeah, basically I was gonna talk about 4 seasons, you know. I guess coming to Japan, I really like the 4 seasons. Not many people like it. I mean, being you know, like born and raised in Singapore, and you know, along with other folks like in Malaysia, Thailand, you know, we don't really get to enjoy any 4 seasons because we're near the equator. There are no seasons. There's only one season all year round. It's summer, you know. It's so hot, it's so humid. So it's good to experience 4 seasons. And you know, after a while, you might like it, you might not like it. It really depends, you know, on every individual. It's just different, you know. I personally like it because why do I like 4 seasons? Well, the seasons are you know, part of nature, you know, and it's a nature's gift to tell you that you gotta change according, you know, your lifestyle, the food you eat, your clothing, you know, everything according to the season. So it's not like in Singapore where you work 365 days and everyone's just so buried in work, day in, day out, you know, and next thing you know, it's the Christmas around the corner, and you got your year-end bonus, and everyone takes a, you know, a long vacation and go on holidays and whatnot. But here in Japan, no matter how hard you work, if the season changes, you will feel it, you will know it, and you know, you'll do certain things, eat certain food related to the seasons. Like now, we're already past the summer, going into like autumn. So in front of me, where Asama is, I'm just gonna flip the video around. There's a car coming up, so let's the car pass. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just so lucky that I got my first job like in Nagano Prefecture, and ever since then, I mean, I fell in love with Nagano Prefecture. I don't want to move anywhere else. Like the best place now for me, you know, because yeah, I'm in Kurizawa, 1,000 meters above sea level, so it's pretty cooling. Weather is very nice here, and you know, the lush, what is that, scenery you can see. You know, how cool is that? Look at that. Yeah, the scenery is amazing, you know, like giant mountains like that. And I think that's about, Asama is about 2,000 plus meters above sea level. So I don't think I can ever get to see that when I'm in Singapore. So yeah. Now it's October, so we're going into autumn. Every year, autumn, pretty much the same, you know, the temperature. But once in a while we get a really, really hot autumn. You know, temperature just doesn't go down. So, you know, all this are the rice fields. And you know, after they harvest the rice, they hang it up on the rack to dry them for, I don't know, maybe a month or something, a couple of weeks to a month, and then they got a machine to come in and remove the rice grain from the rice. So, you know, I see the changes in this rice field. So, you know, according to the seasons, like in summertime, you know, let's just start with like spring. Okay, in spring, fresh out of winter, they would start to burn some of the old roots and everything, you know, and make the land fertile, and then they'll start to flood the paddy fields, and then you know, they'll start to plant in all the little rice, what is that, the seedlings, with a machine, you know, and then and let it grow, and rice absorbs a lot of water, so they're gonna keep flooding the fields, and you know, the rice will just grow higher and higher, and then you know, when it comes in, you know, you can see it's like the like waves, you know, and then sometimes going out of what is that, summer going to autumn, all the rice will kind of turn golden color, you know, and pretty much the time for harvest. So yeah, they'll cut all the rice and hang it like that, you know. Sometimes they get kids to come and help out to experience what it's like to, you know, cut the rice and everything. So yeah, they're hanging up like that, and then after they get the machine to come in, they'll separate the grain from the rice, and then they'll kind of stack it up differently. So there's a very specific Japanese way of doing things around here, so you know which rice are done. And then in the middle, you know, there's a, what is that, they call it the Suzuki, which is like the lalang grass in Singapore. It's very beautiful when the lights hit it, when the sun, what is the afternoon sun, when the lights hit all that Suzuki, you know, like that cottony, flowy thing. And I don't know if you can see there's some around here where the sunset, you know, the soft rays of the afternoon sun hits it. Is very beautiful, you know. I mean, doing videos here of this Suzuki is just amazing. These are like very autumn plants, you know, they're related to autumn, so it's really beautiful, and you get a whole bunch of all those like Suzuki in that corner there. And I think in Japan, very famous, there's one very famous place in Hakone. I can't remember the name. I'll just pull it up and do it up. I'll just put up name in post-production. And I used to do photography there for pre-weddings, and I think I shot a Singapore couple there. It's really beautiful. So you guys should check out that place as well if you get a chance. You know, it's very beautiful. Yeah. And then not only the rice here, I think the farmers plant on the other side buckwheat. You know, the soba noodles. Yeah, they plant the buckwheat plants all around there, and then there are like sunny lettuce, cabbages, and then I think there are corn. You know, there's basically, yeah, I live right next to this farm area that's really, really beautiful. It's not like really super big, but it's just, you know, a decent size. And then that's Mount Sama. It's a live volcano in the back there. So yeah, the scenery, you know, it's like a 5-minute walk from my house. This scenery, I've not gotten used to it. You know, 20 years, I still love this beautiful scenery. It's just so amazing to see, you know, how beautiful it is. So yeah, the mountains, you know, in summertime is you can see all the vegetation is lush green and everything, and then going towards autumn, you know, the colors will change, and then in winter you get the snow-capped mountains, or you know, when the snow is all there, it's all white, it's very beautiful. And then you know, in spring, pretty much nothing. It's just almost like winter. There's no vegetation there. It's just snow on top. So live volcano, every now and then it'll just smoke. So with smoke coming out the live volcano, you know, it's a healthy sign, because there's no pressure building up. But if it doesn't smoke for a long time, you know, there's a pressure building up, and then when it erupts, it's gonna be like a really, really violent eruption, and it's gonna disrupt all the surrounding areas. You know, we'll probably get like volcanic ash, which will damage the rice field and the cars and telecommunications and whatnot. But other than that, you know, yeah, live volcano right there, Mount Sama. So only in summertime you see lush, beautiful, like giant clouds, you know, storm clouds. But other than that, in autumn, you know, it's a very beautiful. So there's not a single cloud in the sky. You can see it's so beautiful out here. And yeah, the weather is fantastic like that. So in winter, you know, yeah, it'll be all white and everything. So after it snows, you know, when you can see like stars at night, you know, it'll be very cold, because like Nagano Prefecture, where I'm in, basically it's like where I'm in Kurizawa, it's on this side of Asama. So there's a whole range of mountains in the middle of Japan. So when the storm front comes in from Siberia and Russia, they were drawing a lot of moisture from the Sea of Japan, and they'll dump it on the coastline, the coastal areas towards the Sea of Japan, like Niigata, Kanazawa. They get smashed with like 5-6 meters, maybe, I don't know, 10 meters of snow every year. it's very heavy, it's very wet snow. So whatever that is left that can overcome the mountains, the clouds that can pass the mountains will give us snow here. So Karizawa, it's a pretty cool place, but it doesn't really snow a lot. Maybe based on the conversations I had with all the Japanese around me, maybe in the late 70s or the 80s, it's definitely snowed a lot more. And when I first got to Japan here in 2006, on November 4th, I think it snowed a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much, one of the biggest snowfall in in this area. So yeah, what is it like to be here in Japan 20 years? Yeah, 4 seasons is definitely nice. In springtime, even though all the trees doesn't have all the leaves and everything, it's all bare, brown and dead, but everyone's just waiting for the sakura. So when the sakura comes out, unfortunately we don't really have a lot of sakuras here in Karizawa, so we'll probably travel to some other places to check out the sakura. It's like a very Japanese thing, but it's just beautiful to catch the sakura, because when they bloom, it's usually about a week to 2 weeks, and then all the flower petals will be gone, and then the fresh leaves will start to come out. They'll start to grow. So yeah, that's spring. And pretty much in spring, it's just Japanese, the business cycle usually starts in April, because they coincide with the cherry blossoms, the sakura blooming as the start of the year. So the schools are like that as well, the companies as well. They will start the new business cycle on April 1st. So everything will end on March 31st. So that's how it's in Japan. So yeah, spring is pretty much that. And summer is hot, but where I am is not too bad. It's definitely hotter than Singapore, but not as humid as Singapore. But in summer, but other than it's hot, you can do a lot of activities here in Japan, like visit the summer festivals, the matsuri, the fireworks events, and eat all the fabulous fruits, like Yamanashi peaches. What is that? The strawberries from Tochigi Prefecture, and then melons, the famous rock melons from Hokkaido, or the mangoes, the Miyazaki mangoes. There's just so many good fruits here in Japan to feast, to enjoy in summer, as well as check out all the latest techs and all the goodies that are available only in summer, and then crash the events as well. It's a good time to go out and make friends and learn more about the history of Japan and all these activities. It's kind of cool. And then coming into autumn, autumn is nice as well, but every year it's either hit or miss, because when all the leaves start to change colors at the same time, it's very beautiful. You get different shades of like orange, yellow, red, green. It's beautiful. But on certain years where the temperature kind of fluctuates, very hot and very cold, very hot and very cold, then you don't get a very beautiful autumn colors. Some of the leaves start to change colors faster than the others, or the trees itself start to shed their leaves before even they change the color. So everything just become brown, and they just shed all their leaves. So and then all the other trees are still green, so every tree is just not doing it all together. So you get bare trees, and then you get spots here and there. So that's not beautiful in autumn. But Japan has all these beautiful mountain ranges in the central Japan where I am. Like the backbone of Japan. So autumn, if you take a train, like a local train in my area, they call it the Komi line, the small C. The kanji is a small C, the Komi line from Komoro, or like a Karizawa or something. You got to change it in Komoro or something, and then you take it all the way down to Kobuchizawa and the Yamanashi. You can see all the beautiful mountain ranges and the beautiful autumn colors. So it's one of the most beautiful train routes if you have time. It's a very slow train. I think it's about 3 hours, or 4 hours. It just travel very slowly, and passes all these very, very beautiful places. So maybe next time you're in Japan and you're not really into like shopping in Tokyo and whatnot, you just want to do something different, like backpack with a family, something you got time to burn, take the train in autumn and enjoy the beautiful weather, and then pack some food or something, Yeah, so that's autumn. And then in winter, everything is pretty much dead, quiet, cold, harsh. But I love winter, because the only thing that I'm waiting for is snow, because 20 years here I still couldn't get enough of this snow. I mean, who doesn't like snow? It's just so awesome. So I like it, when it snows all white and everything. And then the colors, you know, is different from autumn and all the other seasons. It's just everything is just white and everything. So when you wake up in the morning when it's snowing heavily, the snow is very soft and it absorbs all the vibrations in the air, so you don't hear all the birds singing, you don't hear the cars, you know, you don't hear anything. Basically, it's very quiet. I like that kind of feel. And then when you open up the, you know, the blinds and the windows, and everything outside is all white, and there's no fanciful colors fighting for your attention. You know, it's just very, very nice for your eyes. Just very blinding. It's all white and everything. But yeah, snow is amazing, fresh snow. But after a few days, you know, when the snow starts to melt, you know, the streets will be very dirty, the cars will all be very dirty. When the snow starts to melt, it's just a really, really bad mess. And then you see people like in Tokyo, you know, when it snows a little bit, in Tokyo, you see people falling, you know, you see cars crashing. So like urban people in Tokyo are not really ready for the snow. But here in Nagano, we're so used to the snow, you know, we don't really think much of the snow, but it's a big thing when it snows in like Tokyo, which usually they don't really snow in, it doesn't really snow in Tokyo. Maybe, you know, but you know, the snow doesn't just accumulate and you know, like a few centimeters. That'll be big trouble for Tokyo. But yeah, basically seasons here in Japan is very beautiful. I like it. Something that I would not be able to experience if I'm in Singapore. So yeah, and then the fruits and everything, you know, and then the festivals and everything. And because, you know, Japan is a big place, it's very nice if you don't want to travel out of Japan, you can always travel interstate. That's like 47 different prefectures, and every prefecture is different. They have their own unique, distinct culture. So yeah, you can drive around and have fun. Like you know, in Singapore, I think the furthest you can drive is through either one of the two causeway to Malaysia, and then you can drive all the way up to like Kuala Lumpur or even to Thailand. But here in Japan, you know, yeah, I mean, driving like 3-4 hours to a different prefecture is like very normal, but it's something that we cannot do in Singapore. Like Singapore is so small, you drive from one end to the other, and it's probably like 45 minutes, or not even an hour, you know. Like back then, I don't know, when I was in Singapore, I've driven from like Punggol or something, you know, way on the other side, Tampines something, Punggol, all the way on the other side, all the way back to where I am in Bukit Batu and Jurong area. I think it took me about like 30 minutes, but you know, that was like many years ago. Yeah, there were so many like speed cams and radar cams, and yeah, those were the days where you know, I live in like Bukit Batu, and then we would drive down the Choa Chu Kang area, the Malaysian, they are all tuned up, Proton Sagas and whatnot, and we just street race down the street, you know. Yeah, the young and dangerous wild days back then. It was really cool. I grew up during that time, yeah. And then after that, yeah, everything became very strict. Speed cams all around, and then the police are just cracking down on this and that. And yeah, that comes to the next point I was going to talk about. Cars in Singapore are so expensive, you know. It's just, yeah, I mean, as a, I don't know, as an adult, I think the most expensive two investment, not really investment, but the two most expensive thing anyone will probably buy is usually a car and a house, or maybe if you have money, you know, a watch or something. But cars in Singapore are just so overpriced. It's very different. It's very different from here in Japan, where cars are so cheap. I mean, you can basically pick any used car for anywhere between like $500, 500, you know, US dollars, to maybe like I don't know where your budget can stretch. So yeah, I mean, that's a good thing about being here in Japan. You can spend you know, money on affordable items like cars, and not you know, be tied to a car like in Singapore, you know. And you can drive the car and you can maintain it, you can drive it for a very long time. Singapore is very hard, you know. We all know how is it like in Singapore, you know. It's just so expensive, and even if you have a very nice car, you gotta have the money to keep it for more than like 20-30 years, you know. It's just different. And then yeah, comes then next topic will be on houses. Houses here in Japan, generally, if you're not talking about big cities like Tokyo, Yokohama, you know, Osaka, and the popular districts or next to the train station, usually in the countryside, land prices and houses are not really that expensive, you know. I mean, you buy a piece of land and you build a house from scratch, definitely cheaper, you know, definitely cheaper than owning a house in Singapore. I think like a regular house in Singapore would be like, I don't know, I don't think you can even get a house for $500,000 brand new BTO built to order house, you know. So yeah, everything has just gone up. The only thing that has not gone up is probably, you know, our paychecks. So yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be in Singapore many years ago and go through the same thing like everyone else. I wanted to experience snowboarding, and I want to experience like you drifting, driving the cars on the C1 loop, like in the wagon midnight arcade games that we used to see it in Singapore in the game centers. I don't suppose there are many game centers in Singapore who are. I grew up playing games at the game centers, but these days I don't think there are a lot of game centers in Singapore. Everyone is just on the computer, on the PlayStation or something, on their Nintendo Switch or something, and not many people visit game centers. It's the same thing here in Japan as well. There are relatively lesser and lesser game centers, but there are still game centers here in Japan where they host like competitions for esports and whatnot. So yeah, compared to the past, it's definitely way less, but still there are like sporadic places with game centers. It's still kind of fun, I mean, one of those games that I really like to play when I was in a game center in Singapore would probably like Virtua Striker 4 or something. I really wish the Sega would port that to like a PlayStation 5 or something. I work on a like a Virtua Striker 5 or 6 or something. I mean, it's just one of those really, really iconic IP addresses that is restricted only to the game centers. It's kind of sad, and games like Time Crisis, from Namco, the shooting games, from Namco, like Point Blank. All those games are like no longer in existence, so it's kind of sad. Moving forward, now we'll see how it goes, So yeah, basically here in Japan, what do I do in other seasons? Usually I'll be very busy to be in the countryside. Other than work, come back, and on the train. Other than work and everything, usually because my house is, I think in my previous video I talked about it. My house actually runs on a wood stove for winter. So in the other seasons, I gotta actually prepare the wood. I gotta split the wood and everything and dry them out, and then I use them in winter. So that's something I gotta do. But I got my in-laws to help me out with that, so it's not too bad. But yeah, sometimes I gotta do it as well. So other than that, yeah, it's not. Being in the countryside is it's a very, very different experience. I would say the air is very clean here. The people are usually very nice, and you tend to drive a lot than walk because cars are so cheap here. It's just hard to survive without a car. Even like a cheap car, like a $500 car, anyone can afford it. So yeah, in the countryside, most people tend to drive than walk. The only people that would take the trains that pass by every, like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes or something will be students or like tourists, because most people here don't. And it's very hard to see people walking in the streets other than like school children or like students, because everyone drives here. I mean, that's how it is. But if you go to the big cities, most people will take public transport. You walk a lot in Tokyo. You don't really get to afford to drive and everything because parking is just way too expensive in the big cities. But yeah, man, when I go to Tokyo, I drive there as well. So yeah, so that's something to consider. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Being a Singaporean here in Japan. Not in the big cities in the countryside, because definitely it's just a very different, to be in the countryside. You don't pace yourself in such a way that you got to keep climbing higher, make more money. You enjoy life as it is. You make money, yes, but you don't try to strive to make the most money and then forget about everything else. In the countryside, you make money, you survive, yes, but you enjoy life. You see the nature, like you go for hiking trails. In autumn, you take your kids out. If you have kids, you take your parents out. Maybe you go fishing or something. And then experience all these things that you would not otherwise experience in Singapore. Yeah. So yeah, you see how the rice are being produced from scratch, and then other vegetables and fruits and whatnot, So and in the winter you take the kids for skiing, for snowboarding, and then maybe you can let them ice skate or like play ice hockey or something. It's this whole year round. There's a lot of things to do, but all the good things, and then also the not so good things. Like in Japan, it's like any other big cities, like maybe in China or something. Maybe it's an Asian thing, I'm not sure, but when there are public holidays, everyone will come out and jam out everywhere. So when there are like a public holidays in Japan, and or in the Obon period, during the late August period, where everyone goes back to their hometown to pay respect to the ancestor graves or something, or the golden week or the silver week. Everywhere in Japan will be very crowded, and everywhere will be very expensive. So I just gotta be prepared for that. So I'm lucky that I'm in Kurizawa. I mean, I got all this space and land. I can always just chill out around my house or visit, my in-laws in the Yamanashi prefecture or something. It's not too bad. So, but yeah, so being in the countryside helps you save money as well, because everything is slightly cheaper in the countryside. Relatively, it's relative, everything is cheaper here, yes, but your pay is also way lower than what you get in the big cities. So yeah, it's kind of worked out that way. And I think recently I just checked out, I think there was a news that says, that was like reporting like prices of houses in Tokyo just reached an all-time high, like used like a mansions, like a unit and a building or something is already more than like $1 million or 1.5 million or something. Back then you could buy like a used mansion or something, 3 LDK or 4 LDK for like 700,000, 800,000 US, but now it has passed like 1.5 million or something. So yeah, it's just too expensive. And I think a new unit, new houses, like mansion in Tokyo, depending on the places, but the average price will be anywhere from 3 to 4 million. That's very expensive in the countryside. I think you buy a piece of land and build a house, it can be anywhere between like 100,000 to 300,000, depending on where you are. If it's a popular place, it might be more expensive, but yeah, in the countryside, basically, it's not really that expensive, and then you get to, get a lot of land, you can do whatever, but the one thing is work, if you want to move to the countryside, you got to think of what you're going to do, but I think Singaporeans are pretty much very, adaptable. So I think Japan will be a good place to retire, I mean, for me, at least I'm here, for good. But if you want to retire here in Japan, you gotta really know, do your research and everything, because number one, nowhere in Japan is safe. The volcanoes, the earthquake, the tsunami, you gotta pick one, so you gotta keep that in mind. Secondly, 4 seasons, if you cannot stand the cold, you might not want to move to a place that has a very, very harsh winter. But if you move to the countryside, to near the sea, you might experience like a tsunami or something like that. So yeah, you gotta do your research. But if you can accept all that, it's very nice to retire here in Japan, and get a camping car or something and drive around Japan, and sleep in the car and enjoy, visit the onsens and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, you definitely can do that. So that's a good thing, But maybe it's good for people who have traveled a lot, or maybe it's good for people who have only had their eyes set on Japan like me, So yeah, but I definitely want to visit, my friends in other parts of the world as well. When I got the time and the money, now it's all the commitment just goes to the kids. It's not really a lot for myself. So yeah, pretty much that's it for this video. I'll I'll do some editing and post-production where you can see all the different the land and the rice fields and everything. So it's just very nice to see the tractors moving and everything. So yeah, not something that you get to see in Singapore. So it's pretty much that's it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoy my short videos like that, my short walks video. So yeah, recently I think in Japan, a lot of bear attacks. I think in the news as well, somebody got killed yesterday. This unfortunate 50-year-old gentleman was cleaning the onsen in one of the prefectures, and a bear attacked him and dragged him out, and they found his body this morning, and then they shot the bear or something. So yeah, bear attacks everywhere in Japan, and I decided to just get myself a walking stick or something, so not really the most effective weapon, to fight off a bear, but it's it's to just put distance between me and the bear. So yeah, and then besides, walking stick, yeah, it's a hiking, not really a walking stick, but like a trekking pole or something. I ordered it online last night or something after I'm checking out in the store, and I actually drove to a physical store, and checked it out. It was pretty nice, so I decided to grab it. And when it's here, I'll probably do a video and show you guys. But yeah, and then I think my son had this small mini marathon today around the neighborhood, but it was cut short. Because I think there were bear sightings around, so they decided to cut short the event, so that the places with the bear sightings, the kids don't run there. So yeah, I just gotta be prepared, even though there's a main road up there that separates my area from the mountains and all the the wild, and here is like people's houses and everything, but you never know, the bear can be anywhere. So yeah, just have a something in my hand to put some distance between me and the bear. I actually did consider like a bear spray, but the only thing about bear sprays is there is an expiry date. So even if you don't use it, you spend some money to buy a bear spray, you don't check it, and then you bring it out, and when you need to deploy it, if it passed a certain expiry date, you can't really use it, as it'd be not effective. And it's not like in the States and everything we can carry a firearm or something, so I don't want to strap an axe or knife or something to my back. So just for some walks like that, I mean, it's I might not look out of place because I'm in the countryside, not in Tokyo, but a trekking pole is just good enough for me, I think. I mean, if I don't have anything, I'll just probably use this GoPro Hero 8 that I have in my hand to swing it at a bear or something, but yeah, basically walks like that, just gotta keep your ears open, situational awareness, do not put in your earphones with the noise cancelling, and then go out and be oblivious to your surrounding. Just gotta know what's going on around. But yeah, generally in the daytime is not too bad. There are a lot of cars coming in here and out, and constructions and renovations and whatnot, so it's not too bad. See what a sunny lettuce, yeah, they're planting here, so not too bad, right? Yeah, so basically around me, around where I live, there are like farmlands, people, the farmers plant like crops and whatnot. And then my neighbor here, not really my neighbor, but one of the gentlemen I know in the neighborhood, he has like he used to rear horses there, but I think his horses died or something, so it's basically an empty land, and he built up all this beautiful garden around his land. He's got this giant piece of land on the other side that's all his, so yeah. So basically, yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and thank you for checking out my videos and listening to me talk all the way to the end. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, what you guys would prefer to see in my next video or something. I'll just continue working on this series as and when I can, while I continue to do the news, the series that I was talking about, news in Japan. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.